What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday night. Welcome to another edition of Chips and Dish here on the All About the Birds Network. I am your host, Chip Keggy, at Chip for the Birds. Want to give a big shout out to some of the All About the Birds sponsors. We have got, starting with my personal favorite, 99 Jerseys. 99 Jerseys is sponsored with All About the Birds. Use the code AATBirds for a 20% discount at checkout. For the dads and grads in your life, you can see that I am sporting my LSU Shaquille O'Neal jersey. This is one of my brand new Jimmy Johns. So again, really great quality products. We are also sponsored by Statement Games for a fun, free twist on fantasy sports. Sponsored by oddsjam.com. You can use their arbitrage calculator to not use money, and I believe I used the word arbitrage correct. And of course, manscaped.com. Use the code AATBirds at checkout, 20% off. And free shipping, again, for the dads and grads in your life. And, of course, for our new designs, aatbirds.com/shop. We got to get into this. I have been sitting here watching some sports over the past couple of weeks, and I have realized that it is time to retire a few topics of conversation. Adam, what's going on? I agree. Go Sixers. One thing that's super annoying to me is that this series is so spaced out. It should not take almost 2 weeks to play a basketball series. Sunday to Wednesday is absurd. It's absurd. You don't need that much rest. You've been resting all season. You rest players all season. Players like Michael Jordan, you had to convince that they weren't injured to play. All these NBA players, they don't want to play. So again, having them have another day off and another day off, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. I need more people like Donovan Mitchell who are annoyed that they're not playing. The NFL draft topic will never be put to rest. See, Adam, that's not what I'm talking about here, right? Because you get the ability to look at the players and go, this guy's going to be a good fit. This guy's not going to be a good fit. Let's see how they develop. So that's not a topic that I am talking about here. In fact, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to put my first topic up there. Again, these are topics that basically, and this is Phil's, but I got to go there. It's why I stopped listening to sports talk radio. So right off the bat, if you listen to any of the main sports talk radio stations, the term beating a dead horse doesn't do it enough justice. They go over and over and over again into the same topic. Get new material. There is so much sports out there. There are so many things that you can talk about. And Julie's exactly right. Nobody wants to do the work. Nobody wants to get into the nitty-gritty, the details of it all. So topic number one that we have got to talk about. Friends, family, random listeners, stop it with Carson Wentz. I need to see the like count go up right now on this. Stop with Carson Wentz. You guys, Carson Wentz is on a different team. I'm not sure if you know this. Carson Wentz is on a different team. It is not necessary. It is not usual. It is not normal to look nonstop at every little thing that Carson Wentz does and try to, oh, well, Carson Wentz, he had a great 2017 before he got into. Stop it with Carson Wentz. I was just randomly scrolling. Yeah, exactly. Adam, let it go already. Y'all, he plays for another team. Exactly. Matt, who? And I agree, Kyle, go Sixers. We're going to get into some Sixers stuff too. I hope you guys know where I'm going to go with it. I was just randomly scrolling on Twitter as I got ready for the show, right? And what comes up? Carson Wentz played a game of horse today on the football field with a teammate. And that got a whole bunch of retweets from Philadelphia people that I follow. And one of the people quoted, oh, he lost that too. Who gives a flying flip if he played horse on the Indianapolis Colts football team? Last week, one thing that really, really grinds my gears, right? One thing that really grinded my gears last week was a poll that was run by one of the major sports radio talk shows, right? One of the major sports radio talk shows that went based on the Pro Football Focus, where, Carson Wentz is ranked here and Jalen Hurts is ranked here. And, who is the better quarterback, Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz? This is Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio asking, who's better, your ex or your mate, your rebound, your ex or your rebound? It's like Manny said, it's the ex you can't let go. Let it go. The missus chiming in from the other room because she knows I'm hyped up right now. All sports radio does is harp on the Wentz stuff. It's exhausting. Move on. If you've ever been in a relationship, and I'm assuming, our followers have because, y'all not little children. When you break up with somebody, you have a little bit of time where, you still go on their feed and, I want to win the breakup, right? I want to win the breakup. We're past that point with Carson Wentz. How is it that we are still sitting here in now May and we are still talking about Carson Wentz? Stop it with Carson Wentz. Redirect that energy, redirect that focus into Jalen Hurts. I'm not even saying redirect it into Jalen Hurts versus Joe Flacco, because we know as Philadelphia sports fans, we love our quarterback drama. Let it go. Y'all got to be like Elsa and let it go. Let it go. It's actually annoying at this point. And of course, Carson Wentz is feeling great because he wasn't wanted when he was here. Then now that he's gone, oh man, they must miss me, right? They must want. Stop it with Carson Wentz. And I talk with people. They go, well, we're still rooting for Carson Wentz, and you can do that. You can root for Carson Wentz all you want. I have no issues with the guy. He wasn't a good fit here. But for you to say, oh, well, Carson Wentz is gone, so I'm not an Eagles fan anymore, then you were never really an Eagles fan to begin with. You were a Carson Wentz fan. And that's cool. That's you. You do your thing, but that's you. If you're an Eagles fan, you support whoever it is being the quarterback. This season, it needs to be Jalen Hurts. Which brings me to point number 2 that needs to be discussed. And that's how much I wanted to spend on Carson Wentz. Point number 2 that needs to be discussed. And I'm going to read Ian's comment first. Hang on. This is Jalen Hurts' team. He's doing all the right things. I think we are in a low expectation time period. If there is such a thing in Philly, it's time to see these young guys do the thing. Ian, exactly what a great segue to my next point. One player doesn't fix the Philadelphia Eagles this year. And the draft picks that we have secured are too important. So, in typical Philadelphia Eagles fashion, and they didn't even do anything to get this conversation brought up. Who's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle this week? Who is it, friends? Julio Jones. And all it would take is, and then you make your draft packages. All it would take is you trading Zach Ertz and Jalen Hurts and a third-round pick, and there you go. And they'll make the trade. Or maybe we'll trade Zach Ertz and Travis Fulgham and a second-round pick, and they'll give us Julio Jones. Are you kidding me? Please tell me. Let's back it up for a second. Let's pinpoint. So this was the major topic, sub point A, right? We indented on the bullet pointed list. And Matt, I know, I'm curious to know how many more you got. We're bullet pointing in Zach Ertz. Okay, this hasn't quite made the end of conversation list because he is still here. But the portion that we can talk about with Zach Ertz, he has no trade value. Leading up to the draft, he had no trade value. Leading up through the draft, he had no trade value. Players went out and got tight ends. Good tight ends. Young tight ends. Zach Ertz has zero trade value. And he's still on the team, right? He's still on the team because if you look at the money and everything, they'll save, I'm pretty sure Johnny said like $8 million post June 3rd. So maybe they're waiting until June 3rd and they're going to release him. Or maybe everybody will be happy, go lucky, and he'll play another season with the Eagles, but that seems unlikely. But if you think that anybody wants Zach Ertz, they would have already gotten him. And yes, he will get moved, most likely for peanuts. But right now, we're not even getting peanuts for him. He's going to be dealt post June 1st. Yes, cap deal. We understand all that. But for people to think, and we're going to focus on the Atlanta Falcons for 1 second. The Atlanta Falcons took the number 4 overall pick in the draft and drafted who? Kyle Pitts, an exceptional young tight end. Why? Why would they then go out and trade for Zach Ertz? They don't need Zach Ertz. They've got Kyle Pitts. And maybe Kyle Pitts doesn't pan out, and we'll talk about that. But we know that Zach Ertz is coming off of a down year. We know that Zach Ertz is having some contract disputes. We know what Zach Ertz views of himself. Again, I like Zach Ertz. I love Zach Ertz as a man. But if you're looking at it from a business perspective, he has zero trade value. He has zero value for this team. And on top of that, he doesn't really want to be here. So if you're trying to put in a new culture and you've got guys like, Sirianni's fantastic. He's talking this way. He's talking that way. Kerrigan, so excited to be here. He felt recruited. Zach Ertz doesn't want to be here. That's not something you need in this locker room. You can send him away or you can cut him and let him, again, thank you for the Super Bowl. Thank you for everything you've done, but we don't need you. For people to believe that Julio Jones is the savior of this team and will save this team, you are delusional. And to trade those first-round draft picks doesn't make sense. The first-round draft picks that they have secured are too important. And thank you, Brandy. And yeah, he very pretty. He a pretty man. It's a pretty family they got. But as far as being in Philadelphia, are you talking Julio Jones? I don't know where you're going with that. You just said, and he's fine. You're going to have to specify either Julio or Zach, Brandy. Both very handsome men. But the issue comes in, one player does not fix this team. One player does not fix this team. So you can say, Ian, yes. Everybody treats the trade market like Madden. It's not that easy. You guys, in Madden, you can override trades and make obscure, ridiculous trades. Hell, some of the trades that we've made, the Philadelphia Eagles have made, get denied by Madden if you just go straight up with them because they're bad trades or they're really good in our favor. It doesn't change the fact that nobody wants Zach Ertz right now. Oh, you saying Jalen Hurts. I don't know if you want to delay, but you all about the Jalen Hurts. I got you. Julio Jones doesn't fix this team. He doesn't. he makes them the difference between a 5 and a 6 win team, a 6 and a 7 win team. But Julio Jones in the first year with a new head coach doesn't make this team go from a 4-5 win team to a 12-13 win team. Julio Jones doesn't do that. There's too many other questions, which is why those picks are so important. You look at some of the other things. This is, okay, one player doesn't fix his team. Sub-point Zach Ertz. Sub-point. If y'all don't stop with the quarterback of the Texans, if you do not stop with the quarterback of the Texans, guys, he's got too much other things going on. And they want 3 first-round picks. Well, my goodness. The Philadelphia Eagles have 3 first-round picks. It works perfectly. We can trade for him. Right? Yes, Davis Mills, exactly. I don't even want to say his name. I am trying to avoid the clickbait situation. I spent 8 minutes talking about Carson Wentz. I feel bad enough talking quarterbacks in Philadelphia. Yeah, and Adam's just listing off quarterbacks at this point. I'm not going to say it. I'm not saying it, Adam. You can type them all. You can type them all because they're cutting quarterbacks at this point. No quarterback that is currently on the roster for the Houston Texans that the asking price is 3 first-round picks should be on this team. Matt put the comment in. I'm not saying his name. I'm not saying his name. And the fact that Eagles fans are like, oh, well, this certain player. Yep, Ryan Mallett. Exactly, Adam. That this certain player will fix this team. You guys, he might not even play. He might not even play this season. He's got a lot of legal stuff going on. Oh, well, what about if we make some sort of ridiculous trade for Aaron Rodgers or some sort of ridiculous trade for Russell Wilson or some sort of ridiculous. One player does not fix this team. And more than anything, you are bringing in drama from other organizations into an area where you have a new, fresh slate. It doesn't make sense for your locker room. And it doesn't make sense for your salary cap. It doesn't make sense for your trade assets. It doesn't make sense. You cannot. Adam, I say no. I say no for no. No, because he's got maximum 3 years left. Now, I will say that Tom Brady could be the exception to my one player doesn't fix a team mentality. But think about all the players that had to pull the LeBron card and go, I want to win a championship. I'm going to take less money to be on this team. And what did they do this season? They returned all 22 starters. Why? They're willing to take less money. We have looked at Super Bowl team after Super Bowl team. And what happens after a team wins a Super Bowl? Those players start branching off and going other places because they have playoff and Super Bowl experience. Tom Brady is the opposite of that. He's such a winner that players are like, I'll take less, and they will form the super team. 22 out of 22 starters are back. One player does not fix the Philadelphia Eagles. So what you need to do, and I've been something, my hair was literally popping out. I'm so fired up today. And what needs to happen this season, and Ian said it earlier in the comments, is you've got all these young guys and some veterans who want to be here. You know, I think the Ryan Kerrigan move is an underrated move. He is a serious NFL player who chose to be here. And maybe he's old, and maybe he's past his prime, and maybe he's just a rotational defensive end. I get all of that. But he chose to be here, making it not seem like it's a problem to be in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles are more than one player away to fix the team. The trade rumors are almost as annoying as the guys who do 14 mock drafts. And the guys that do the 14 mock drafts, they're fine, right? They're fine. It doesn't change much. It's just, okay. But the trade rumors, just because so-and-so is available or so-and-so wants out of a contract, y'all don't need to come up with conversations about how this player is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. You guys, our salary cap is still a mess. We have a brand new coaching staff. We have a brand new starting quarterback. We've got a new stud wide receiver that we got to see if he pans out. We got new offensive coordinators, new defense coordinators. This is a new team. It's more than one pick away. So you play your young guys, the ones you already have on roster, the ones you already have. You play your young guys, you see what you have, and then when you realize the weaknesses in your team, you use your draft picks that you have acquired to fill the holes, the best available of those positions. This is a 4-win football team. One player does not change the landscape. And Adam, let's talk about this, right? Everybody has been mad about the Dickerson pick for a very simple reason. The Philadelphia Eagles have an issue over the past, I won't say decade, but we'll say 5 to 6 years where they get hurt. The Philadelphia Eagles can't make it through a season. They get hurt, they get hurt, they get hurt, they get hurt, they get hurt. Even if they were healthy, even if they had never missed a game their entire career, they come to Philadelphia, and it must be something about the air in Lincoln Financial Field because all of a sudden they can't breathe and they cannot play. Dickerson, who, if he pans out, it's going to be a fantastic offensive lineman. The problem is that he's coming in to Philadelphia with all the injuries. He's coming in with an injury history. He's not one of these guys who was healthy his whole career. This is a guy who's had serious lower body injuries his whole career. That causes some people concern. It's the idea that, once again, talking historically, talking about learning from mistakes, the Eagles waste second-round picks. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was a wasted second-round pick. At the time, Jalen Hurts was a wasted second-round pick. Now, nobody could have predicted that Carson Wentz was one more year with this team. So it turns out that Jalen Hurts maybe wasn't a second-round waste. Maybe he is. With Dickerson, if he can get on the field, I think he'll be impressive. If he can't, we have a problem. We're in a rebuild. Take a risk. One player won't make a difference. If that player can get on the field, that's important. It's a wasting of a second-round pick. And the other issue, Adam, and you make a really good point. You've done such an awesome job with all of our draft stuff. But the big thing is that everybody had their 4 players that they had heard of that they wanted. They had their, their Micah Parsons they wanted on this team. Their Asante Samuel Juniors, their JOKs. They had all their guys that they wanted because they had heard the names 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Dickerson wasn't on the fans' radar, so therefore he was a waste. But look at the players. Look what the players are saying. Kelsey said he wants to work with Dickerson. That says a lot to me. And we have the best offensive line coach in the NFL. So if anybody can do it, it's Jeff Stoutland. So that's important. One player does not fix this team. And it's the same reason why they're not going out and getting some of these corners that are still available. Look, I want some of the big corners. Oh, thank you. Don, exactly, right? Conaway, Sidney Jones, another wasted second-round pick. They don't develop young players, especially ones with injury history. Now, that's the old regime. The old regime did not develop players, whether they were injured or not. They just went, go play football. Oh, I don't understand why they don't know how to track a deep ball. I don't understand why the Carson Wentz regressed his whole career in Philadelphia. I don't understand because they can't develop players. They can't develop players except Jordan Mailata, who was developed. Miles Sanders is kind of plateaued where he is. Hopefully this new coaching staff will bring something out of him. Hopefully Jalen Reagor will get something brought out of him. This coaching staff has got to be so much more hands-on, but one player doesn't fix this team. Making some sort of outlandish trade so that we can win in 2021 is exactly why we are in the trouble that we got in 2020. Nobody in the bank, no talent in the bank to develop and replace when injured guys got old and had to leave the team. So they filled in with players that they think would do the job. It all comes down to coaching. If you cannot coach this young squad, that's the bigger issue. But one player doesn't fix the team. So if they do go out and get Julio Jones, cool. It's a difference of about 2 wins, I'd say. If they go out and get that one specific quarterback, from the Texans. It's a difference in 0 wins because he's still got to learn the system and he might not play, in which case Joe Flacco is your starting quarterback. You go out and get some of these corners again. The draft picks are too important. I'm done talking Eagles right now. I'm switching gears. I know this is the All About the Bird Network. Yes, Matt, that's a good point. In the NFC East, 2 wins could be huge. But I have said over and over again, I do not want to be NFC East great. I want to be NFL great. And we are a ways off from that, which is why Don is telling us to trust the process. It worked one time. It has not worked everywhere else. All right. I'm not even putting the banner up. Here is something that we need to accept and put to bed. This Flyers team last season stunk. Ready, Matt? Here we go. 1 to 2 minutes. The Philadelphia Flyers were a bad hockey team. Because they were poorly coached, they weren't aggressive, they had no defense, and they put too much on a young goalie who struggled. And then they made no changes at all. The Philadelphia Flyers were a bad hockey team. So to think that 1 or 2 players are going to make the difference in getting rid of some of their star players, look, they got to rebuild too. I'm done talking Flyers. I said I'm done talking Flyers. Adam, I can't talk about Phil Mickelson because I'm a lefty. I love lefty. I'm sure Phil of the Beard of Knowledge variety had something awesome to say about him. And I don't want to take his thunder. That's not the topic of tonight's show. The topic of tonight's show is things that we got to stop talking about because they've been beaten to death. All right, Matt, get your scorecard ready. Didn't think we were speaking about the See, I snuck one in just to make sure that I had one on there that you didn't have. So what, Matt, you're 2 for 3 right now? Okay. What a lovely segue. Thank you, Julie. The Phillies are going backwards, currently losing 4-2. Next point that we need to understand and embrace as Philadelphia Phillies fans. The Phillies had better win this year because they don't have the farm team for the future. And that is the understatement of the century. The Philadelphia Phillies have maybe 2 guys in their farm system, and I looked them up today and I already forget their names. Maybe 2 guys in their farm system that are going to be major leaguers. Not even good major leaguers. Straight up going to be major leaguers. Spencer Howard, he's not on either side of it because he's too good for the minors right now. But y'all, Spencer Howard is not ready to be a major league pitcher. And I'm going to retract that statement. Spencer Howard is not ready to be a major league starting pitcher. Watching him peter out after the 3rd inning. And when they said, why did your fastball drop from 95 to 91? He went, I got out of breath after running to first base in his first major league at bat. You guys, we can have the conversation about whether or not there needs to be a universal DH or no universal DH rule, because having the American League and the National League play with a different set of rules in the same league is stupid. But as long as pitchers are batting, you guys, Spencer Howard cannot sacrifice 5 to 6 miles per hour of velocity off of this fastball because he ran out a ground ball. And you could say, well, it was just that one time. It's not. If you look at Spencer Howard's career, by the 3rd inning, 3rd to 4th inning, his velocity dips down significantly. So thinking intentionally, okay, what does he do well? He needs to come out of the bullpen. Spencer Howard is not good. He was not good last year. He is not good now, but he's the best pitcher in the Philadelphia Phillies farm system. That's all you need to know. He's the best pitcher in a farm system, which is why the Phillies had better win this year, because they do not have the farm team for the future. As Matt says, the Phillies are 5 years away from being 10 years away. Matt says a solid 15 years of good baseball. Late 90s, early mid-2000s, all over. They have new bullpen pitchers, but they're still not good. Listen, I was really excited about some of their bullpen pitchers, but none of them can stay healthy. Archie Bradley, time on the DL. Jojo Romero, time on the DL. Hector Neris, not a closer. Hector Neris is not a closer. Hector Neris is not a closer. I don't know how else to say it. Out of all the pitchers that you have, Archie Bradley is the best positioned to be a closer. Hell, have Ian Kinsler be a closer. He is not a closer. Hector Neris is not a closer. Harper, he's getting hurt. JT Realmuto, hurt. Somebody's got to play outfield. And right now, we've talked about it before, Odubel Herrera. I'm wondering if we are getting to the point now in Philadelphia, because it happened with Michael Vick. Oh, I'll never watch the Philadelphia Eagles again. Michael Vick was a terrible human. Michael Vick, Yo, you want to see my new Michael Vick jersey? We got to that point once Michael Vick started winning. Are we at that point with Odubel yet? Because now, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I listen to things. People aren't talking so much. My wife, I don't know which dude you hate, but there's one of them that she definitely hates. So I'm going to guess Odubel. But we'll see in a second. We're getting to that point where people are talking less and less about the god-awful things that he did, and more about, oh, well, his batting average is 246, and he's had 2 or 3 home runs. Because it's what happens. It happens every time. It's the what have you done for me lately mentality. It's the Janet Jackson, what have you done for, right? That's what it is. And Odubel is working his way back. I know 246 ain't good, but considering the team was 1 for everything before that, he's the best option they had, which we knew going in. Well, Adam Hazley's coming back. Adam Hazley's a head case. Oh, Mickey Moniak, he's good. Mickey Moniak is not good. Mickey Moniak is a part of that farm system that is absolutely depleted and not good. Oh, well, we're going to teach Nick Maton to play center field. He's an infielder. Why would you do that? Oh, well, Scott Kingery can play the outfield. Scott Kingery can't tie his own shoes without falling over. You have no farm team. And because of that, you have to accept that because there is no one else. Now, you could argue they should be selling assets to rebuild their farm system. And Richard said the same thing, right? JT and Harper can become trade bait to refill the Phillies farm system. But if you listened to everybody going into this season, guys, this was going to be our season. This was going to be the year where the Philadelphia Phillies won it all because Bryce Harper was going to be great. We got JT Realmuto and we got Didi Gregorius. Don, you and I did a show about how good this team's offense was. But on that same show, what did we say? They didn't change the pitching. What did they bring in? Matt Moore. Chase Anderson. They moved Vinny Velasquez. Guys, Vinny Velasquez is the best 4 option we have right now, which is fine. He's a good 4 option, and he's been pitching pretty damn well. But now he's got an injury. This team cannot stay healthy. Please see the Philadelphia Eagles. This team cannot hit when they need to, and there's too much conversation about the next point that I'm going to make, which is the idea, and everybody knows my take on this. Zach Wheeler is the ace of the Philadelphia pitching staff. I hope Jason Voorhees is on here at some point because I'm about to go in it. Aaron Nola is a good pitcher, maybe even great, but he is not the best pitcher on the Philadelphia Phillies staff. Zach Wheeler's stuff is dominant. Aaron Nola, when he's on, is dominant. But notice how I had to say when he's on. When he's on. Here you go, right? Zach Wheeler has a 2.65 ERA across his 21 starts since signing for the Phillies. That's not, well, 2 starts, he shuts him down. 2 starts, he gives up 6 runs and can't get out of the 4th inning. Zach Wheeler pitched 7 strong. That's what we expect from him. An ace is a guy that goes out there and you know what you're going to get 4 out of 5 times that he pitches. 4 out of 5 times that he pitches. That's Zach Wheeler. Aaron Nola, you know what you're going to get 4 out of 5 times. You're going to get a question mark. You're going to get a question mark. And Nola, and Adam was at the game, so he saw it firsthand. Aaron Nola looked terrible on Friday, and it's not the first time that he's looked terrible. But what do people do? Oh, well, he finished 3rd in the Cy Young Award voting back in 2000. If he did that consistently, then you have a conversation. He doesn't. Aaron Nola is inconsistent at best. At best. Yes, he's got absolutely dominant stuff. And again, look at my point that I'm making. Wheeler is the ace. Nola is a good pitcher. He's an exceptional number 2. But not everybody is an ace. Yes, every team has an ace of their staff. They have their game 1 starter. And maybe that is Aaron Nola. I don't think it is. I think it's Zach Wheeler. I would take Zach Wheeler on the mound for a game 1 over Aaron Nola. In a winner-take-all situation where you have one choice, I pitch Zach Wheeler, not Aaron Nola. And again, Adam's looking on the positive, right? He trusts Dombrowski. Give him 3 years with the team, work his magic, he can win it all. But that's not what the expectation was going into the season. When you looked back on January 1st and you ranked the Philadelphia teams in order, or we'll say whenever they signed JT Realmuto, we'll go with there. It was the Sixers because they were already making a playoff run. The Phillies because they were about to make a run. The Flyers, actually the Flyers were above the Phillies. The Flyers were above the Phillies. The Eagles were already at the bottom because they were garbage this season. At this point, the Philadelphia 76ers are so far superior. And I'm starting to see the Eagles creep up because like Matt said earlier, 6 or 7 wins you the NFC East. The Flyers don't seem to have answers to the point of the coach actually saying, I don't know what to do. And the Phillies don't have answers. It's a long season, but we are getting to a point where we are already removing ourselves. We win 1, we lose 2. We win 2, we lose 2. We win 1, we don't have any level of consistency. You know what fixes that? Every 5 days, an ace going out and guaranteeing you a position to be in a win. That's Zach Wheeler. That's not Aaron Nola. And I know that I have gone to battle on this, and I have nothing against Aaron Nola. I don't. I want him to be successful. But the problem is that he doesn't have consistency. And when they got Harper, Richard's saying, when they got Harper, they forgot to get bats around him. See that, Richard, I don't necessarily agree with. I don't necessarily agree with this point because the bats are there. JT Realmuto is the best catcher in baseball. Didi Gregorius is one of, if not, I mean, at the time, now there's better shortstops, but he was a very strong hitting shortstop. Gene Segura, for all of his defensive inaccuracies, is a good hitting infielder. I know because we were moving him around the time. Rhys Hoskins, once we corrected that launch angle thing, is a good hitting first baseman. This team can hit. McCutchen is starting to hit the ball better. The hitting isn't the issue. It's the hitting at the right time. It's the hitting in key moments with runners in scoring positions in a 1-0 game. It's not worrying about launching. Look, if you look at the way that Bryce Harper approaches the ball with 2 strikes, it's genius, right? When he does get 2 strikes on him, right? He widens his stance. He shortens up the swing. Everything you teach your kids to do and just put the ball in play. That's what Bryce Harper does. It's exceptional to watch. It's beautiful to watch. Bryce Harper's been hurt. Bryce Harper cannot carry a team to victory. Believe it or not, you do need pitching. The Phillies have one exceptional pitcher. It's Zach Wheeler. They've got 2 pretty good pitchers in Aaron Nola and Zach Eflin. And then it's question marks the rest of the way down. The Philadelphia Phillies are in severe trouble. And I think all of us who put ourselves out there going, this team's going to be great. This team's going to win it all. This team's going to beat the Mets and the Braves. And the Dodgers just got Pujols, and he's hitting home runs there too. The Philadelphia Phillies are not in a position to make a run as of May 24th of this season. They're not in a position to make a run. They need to make some moves, and it's going to be some moves that hurt, and it's going to be attempting to rebuild a farm system that is empty. It's empty. Y'all can put up your final Phillies points. I got to take a sip of the aqua. Cheers. Before we get into my final point that needs to be retired. Actually, I got two more points. And one, Matt, I don't think you saw coming for sure. But this one, we got to talk Sixers. Yep, there you go. Wait, Phillies. They leave too many on base, just like last night. Situational hitting is really important. I'm calling it now. Okay, hold on. Wait. JT Realmuto will be a Yankee. Yeah, and he might be. They get what they want. They get what they want, all back to the Steinbrenner days. But I'll tell you what the Philadelphia 76ers want. 15 more wins, everybody. 15 more wins. Okay. The Philadelphia 76ers had a playoff game yesterday. And they looked rough in the first half for a couple of reasons. Joel Embiid got into foul trouble. Tobias Harris carried the team. Tobias Harris did a great job. But here we are after winning game one, which is what we expected to do. And what is everybody talking about? Well, Ben Simmons only scored 6 points and he missed all of his free throws. Adam, I already touched on this at the top of the show. It is infuriating that they had multiple days before the next game. Adam, I'm just going to let y'all read this one. He held the second best scorer in basketball to 2 points when he was the primary defender. In fact, let me even break it down for you even more. When Simmons was guarding Bradley Beal, 2 points. Lights out. Shut down defense. 31 points when he wasn't being covered by Ben Simmons. You guys, Ben Simmons is an elite defender. He is a facilitator. 15 assists, 15 rebounds. Those are numbers that don't happen in the playoffs. Here you go, right? Well, Ben Simmons only scored 6 points. Okay, sure. Let's look second level, right? Let's look at the analytics of it all. And you know how I feel about analytics. Ben Simmons was responsible for creating 41 points yesterday. Oh no, Ben Simmons didn't do the shooting himself. Oh no. Ben Simmons doesn't shoot three-pointers. Oh no, Ben Simmons can't make a free throw. Oh no. We know all that. And it sucks. Ben Simmons isn't a scoring point guard, and that's okay. It's okay. It's the same people, yes, Adam, that say Tobias Harris shouldn't be an all-star. It's the same people that wanted to trade Danny Green. It's the same people that wanted to trade Seth Curry. It's the same people. Look, Ben Simmons is a facilitator. Ben Simmons has the ability to read the floor, make the right pass a lot of the time. He has the ability, due to his size, to get rebounds if he's in position and he's hustling. He has the ability to absolutely shut down your best scorers. And he can play all 5 of the positions. He can't play them all well, but he could play all 5 positions. Ben Simmons is not a scoring point guard. If he does add that quality to his game, you are talking about an elite NBA player. But if he doesn't, he's still pretty friggin' good. Like Don said here, right? 8 of those were offensive rebounds. Watch the damn game. He makes everyone better. And that's all you want. His ability to read the floor gets Joel Embiid open space, to which he then can dominate. His ability to quickly pass the ball gets the three-point shooters into open space with clean looks. His ability to pass the ball means Tobias Harris doesn't have to be a ball handler, which if you listen to what Doc Rivers said, he wanted Tobias Harris to not handle the ball as much this year. So you let Ben Simmons do it. Ben Simmons is not your prototypical Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul point guard. He's a Rajon Rondo with the assists. Rajon Rondo's had a pretty good NBA career. Now, does that mean that Rajon Rondo should be an NBA superstar and you can consider him as such? No. But Ben Simmons will never be Steph Curry. Ben Simmons will never be Trae Young. Ben Simmons will never be Chris Paul. Ben Simmons will never be Kyrie Irving or any of the point guards that you want him to be. And that's okay. As long as he plays with that Magic Johnson mentality that I'm going to pass the ball, I'm going to rebound, I'm going to play both ways. That's great. But like Don said, people got to watch the game. People are looking for the highlights of it all. This is an issue. You cannot say that Ben Simmons is not a vital part of this team. There it is. If Ben Simmons does not guard Beal or Westbrook, we lose game 1. Now, that's not to say that Thibault is not an exceptional defender as well. But Ben Simmons is a freak of nature. So is Thibault. You have 2 great defenders on the team. Are you mad that Thibault isn't a fantastic scorer? Because I'm not. People are mad about that. Look, I understand that people want the highlights. People want the fancy things. You guys, it's playoff basketball. You need now 15 wins. You need 15 wins. You got other guys that can score when they're on. Let them do what works for them. Let Ben Simmons does what works for them. Let the team play together. These are all the same people that wanted the big trade at the trade deadline. Well, give me James Harden. No. Well, give me LaMarcus Aldridge. No. Give me Blake Griffin. No. These big name guys don't gel with the team that they already had. The moves that they made at the trade deadline with George Hill accentuated this team. They brought out the best of what they already had, and they brought out the bench, which needed some help. Tyrese Maxey is going to be a good NBA player. Dwight Howard came to this team because he knew he would get an excellent amount of playing time. He's coming off of, a world championship with the Lakers, so you get that experience. Danny Green coming off of a world championship, multiple world championships. You now have the experience to say, Joel Embiid, this is what we need you to do in the playoffs. Tobias Harris, this is what we need you to do in the playoffs. Ben Simmons, this is what we need you. And what's going to happen is the veteran leadership along with the youthfulness of this team is going to push this team deep into the playoffs. But to expect Ben Simmons to score 25 to 30 points a game, that's not his game. Stop getting pissed off that it's not his game. That's like saying, oh, well, Jalen Hurts might not be an accurate passer. Why can't he just pass the ball? Donovan McNabb wasn't an accurate passer. Why is he running the ball again? He's got so many running yards, but he can't throw the 80-yard ball. Stop pigeonholing them. Donovan McNabb was not Peyton Manning. If you wanted Peyton Manning to rush for 200 yards per game, you don't understand Peyton Manning's game. Players have things that they do well and things that they don't do well. Good coaches, great coaches, bring out the best in those players. Ben Simmons is not a great shooter. So to expect him to take 5 3-pointers a game is dumb. Where Ben Simmons is successful is letting Joel Embiid be out at 3-point land because he is a good 3-point shooter. And Ben Simmons can get 8 offensive rebounds and tip-ins and 6 points per game. Anything more than the assists and rebounds that Ben Simmons gives you is just icing on the cake. Don, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see that the Phillies bullpen looking like Dookie again, which means Eflin looked like Dookie, which means the team isn't hitting the ball well again. It's everything we talked about. All right. Final thing that I want to not complain about, I want to put an ending on. And I am super guilty of it as well. And first off, let me tell you, I know I decided to go solo tonight, but it feels like you guys are here with me. The back and forth comments, this is fantastic. I'm having a blast. And like to the point of I just looked at the time and went, holy crap, I've been talking for 50 minutes straight. This is fun. So here's my final thing that I want to talk about. And before I say it, let me preference why I am allowed to speak on such things. Some of you know that, and Matt, I bet you didn't have this on your checkboard. Some of you know that I am an umpire. Oh, yes. I am an umpire. I have been doing it now for about 7 years. A lot of Little League ball all the way up to like 17, 18-year-olds, right? And I really enjoy it. And I do it a lot. I umpire a lot. Could we please, for just a couple of minutes, talk about officiating? And we're going to talk about it on both sides. We're going to talk about it to the point of the officials blowing calls, right? And the way that officials are treated. Because it is a very significant problem on both fronts. So think with me, if you will. People complain, oh, well, if we lost, that would have been on my list, but the refs were bad both ways. I'm not even talking necessarily about look, the referees were awful yesterday for the Sixers game. They were awful. And they went to the instant replay and they can fix things. But to go, oh, we'll just have a computer call balls and strikes because humans make mistakes, human error. But then why do you get pissed off when humans make errors? To the same point, umpires. And I'm going to be a little bit more focused on umpires because that's what I do. And I work with enough guys to know, some of these dudes are bad dudes, right? So the way I describe it, and if you've ever had a conversation with me in the last couple of months, you know that this is how I describe it. If any of you have ever seen the movie Judge Dredd, 1980s, Sylvester Stallone, I'm going way back. It's a very famous meme. He sits there and they're talking about the law, right? And he goes, I am the law, right? I am the law. Again, think about what I said. I called Little League games all the way up to like 17, 18-year-olds. If you are going out there, and this is all the way up to the professionals, and you are convinced that you are right 100% of the time, you are doing it 100% wrong. You look at the professionals. They go to the instant replay. Most of the time, they don't change the call. Why? Because they're convinced that they were right. Believe it or not, changing the call so that it is correct is cool. Here's my other point about the whole I am the law thing. I am in umpire groups on Facebook. That's right. If you ever want to see a group of some of the worst humans on the planet, go into an umpire group on Facebook. Because you can post the most nice, basic, generic thing. I was umping a game on the back of a kid's helmet, on the catcher's helmet, where I'm looking down most of the game to see the helmet. It said umpires rule. I'm like, that's hysterical. I'm going to take a picture of it. That's really funny. I posted. I'm like, hey, flattery will get you everywhere. Not really. You don't change calls, but it's appreciated. I post that picture. 120 people like, this is awesome. This is cool. This is cool. That was really funny. One guy. Why did you have your phone on the field? Why did you take a picture? If that was my umpire assigner, he would fire me and I would never work for him again. And according to rule 6-.02-4, it's... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I worked with a guy last year. This is 15-year-old baseball. I worked with a guy last year. Now, in 7 years of umping, I have never ejected anybody. I've gotten close. I've gotten close, but I've never ejected anybody. Worked with a guy last year, 15-year-old baseball. He ejected the bat boy. He ejected the bat boy for collecting bats without wearing a helmet. The bat boy was 7. Let me say that again. A grown man looked at a 7-year-old and ejected him from a game. Some of these people on that Facebook group that I mentioned, they tell you like, oh, I've ejected my 15th person this year, my 13th person this year. You're doing it wrong. I can't, but believe me, I would love to. I would love to. I will tell you that he no longer works with the umpire group that I do because this is the kind of guy that goes to a field looking for a fight. And Adam, let me tell you, if I make a bad call, do people get frustrated? Of course. But I do this weird thing where I really hustle. So if you watch a lot of professional baseball, it's 4-man crews. Well, when you go to the younger leagues, it's usually a 1-man crew. So do I stand behind home plate and look out at second base and go, he's out? No, I get near second base if I can and I make the call. I don't get a lot of guff. I don't get a lot of people talking back. Sometimes the coaches will do the when I do the balls and the strikes. I'll just take my mask off, look at them and go, Coach, we're not going to do that. That's the end of it. When I do make a call that is questionable and they come out of the dugout ready to go, I'll say this one. Listen, Coach, this can either be a conversation or we're not going to have a conversation. I don't have problems when I umpire, but there's a humility to it. There's a humbleness to it. Me and my partner yesterday, we had to change a call. We got together. We made the right call. It was cool. That's happened before. We make the right call. You get together, you change call, even if it's overriding the other guy. Officiating at the major league level in baseball, basketball, NBA, hockey. The problem is that these are guys that have gotten up to this level and went, I am so great. I am a professional umpire. I can't be wrong. And it's my partner over here, Bob, when it is time to question a call, and they go, Bob, I'm not wrong. Oh, Joe's not wrong. Joe could never be wrong. And then all of a sudden, there's the John Boy medias where it's a bunch of angry dudes critiquing officials, and they're sponsored. It's the every single time an ump blows a call, it's the sponsored. It's the people that follow officials out to their games after their games. And, you were terrible. You were this. You cost the team the game. They're human beings on both ways. Understand exactly. Realize where you are. You're supposed to be teaching the game. You can be humble as an official and you can be humble as a fan. I understand wins and losses are everything. And once you get to the majors, it is a job. But if you go to your job, I'm a teacher. If I go to my job and I disagree with a policy that my school is instituting, and I start going into the principal's office and I start throwing things and I start kicking her stuff over, y'all, I'm going to get fired. That's no way to act. The officials need to be right, but they need to understand that they can be wrong. One thing that I saw over the course of the weekend, and now I'm going from officiating to like the NBA as a whole. LeBron James, and this will be my final point of the night. LeBron James operates on a different set of rules than any other NBA player. LeBron James, before the play-in game, went out to a concert, which you're not supposed to do because all the COVID stuff. He broke COVID protocol. He brought new, germs and cooties into the situation and then played in the play-in game. Whereas other players have been suspended for it. James Harden was sat down for a game. This has happened before. And the protocol by the NBA was if you break COVID protocol, you will not play in the next game until you can get a negative test. LeBron James, the night before the Lakers game, breaks protocol. and one of my favorite people on the planet, just because he doesn't give a shit, Charles Barkley, said, and I quote, "The NBA doesn't have the balls to suspend LeBron James." And boy, don't you know it. The NBA put out a statement today about why it was okay that LeBron James did the specific thing that he did. There can't be this double standard. That's where you get into trouble with officiating. Why is hitting Tom Brady a certain way, but hitting Jalen Hurts the same way a different outcome? Why is a catch here, but not a catch here? Why is a goal and why is an offsides here and an offsides here? Why is a flop here and not a flop here? What's consistency? If you can be consistent, not just through the entire game, but overall, when I walk up to a baseball field now, if it's a team that I work with, they look at me square, they look at me, they see that it's me, and they turn, they go, listen, his strike zone is lower, and he will call the outside strike. And for me, I go, that's outstanding. They already know what a strike is. So it's not the, where was that? Why did that one miss? That's a strike. Consistency. Consistency in the rules, consistency in what you are calling, consistency in everything, in the Hall of Fame. You name it. You name it. And $100 million. They don't have the balls to suspend LeBron James before the play-in game against Steph Curry. The Battle of Cali, no way they were suspending him. Not a chance. Not a chance. My friends, let me tell you, I have talked for over an hour straight. I want to thank you for tuning in, listening to me rant and rave and complain about some of these things that we need to let go. So things that we will not be talking about anymore. Let's wrap it up. We will no longer be talking about how Ben Simmons needs to score 15 to 20 points a game, because that's not what he's going to do. We are not going to talk about the Philadelphia Phillies farm system, because they don't got one. We are not going to keep calling Aaron Nola an ace, because he isn't one. We are not going to keep talking about how we should trade for all of these players to fix the Philadelphia Eagles this season and give up the draft picks that we got. And we are not. We are not. We are not going to continue talking about Carson Wentz and his time as a Philadelphia Eagle. It's over. It's done with. Adios and good luck to you. Some of the sponsors, we're going to pay the bills. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you're checking out Statement Games, a fun free twist on fantasy sports. The link is in the Facebook feed and the YouTube feed. Oddsjam.com. Use their arbitrage calculator to not lose money. Again, same thing. Comes right from us. AATbirds.com/shop for all of our new designs. Manscaped.com. Use code AATBirds for 20% off and free shipping at checkout. I know, Matt, it wasn't that difficult because these are things that we shouldn't be talking about anymore. I know. And of course, 99jersey.com. Let me put up all the code and the information. 99jersey.com. Sponsored AAT Birds. Use the code AAT Birds for a 20% discount at checkout. This is Shaquille O'Neal jersey. It's the LSU thing. We were talking about Ben Simmons anyway. We were talking about the NBA. We were talking about Shaquille O'Neal. We were talking about the Sixers. Go Sixers. Go Phillies. Go somewhere. Go do something. Fairway to Heaven tomorrow night. They're going to be talking about the PGA Championship, and Phil is going to talk about all the Phil things that Phil did. Wednesday night, we know the Sixers game is Wednesday night. We might be doing something a little bit different, so stay tuned to the social medias for that. Don't forget Beers, Birds, and BS, YouTube exclusive show. The NFL draft shows are now YouTube exclusive as well. And just remember, y'all, some things you just got to let it go. Go Birds, and just keep chipping away at life. We're out of beer, so we're out of here. Peace. Support for All About the Birds is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments,
to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for our listeners, 20% off plus free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Manscaped hooked us up with a bunch of tools and formulations from their Perfect Package 3.0 kit, including the Lawnmower 3.0, which comes with an LED light for a more precise shave and is waterproof to make your shower shave clean and easy. The Perfect Package also includes a deodorant for your undercarriage to prevent odors and chafing, a reviving lotion, a pair of boxers and a t-shirt, not to mention a travel bag to store all your grooming goodies. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code AATBirds. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.